Alright, welcome to another edition of Google is Evil, sponsored by donotgod. So, only one video this week. Again, sorry. Gotta work on it. And hard to describe. Actually, there's a few subjects in there. Mostly just, again, sort of about the idea that the facts aren't that complicated. We're growing up in the same world, we're interacting in the same world, same oxygen, same molecules, all that kind of stuff, and somehow people have these very different perspectives, very different conclusions they draw about what's up and down, what's good and what's bad, what's good and what's evil. So I titled it that, but I don't know if it's really about that. So I guess we'll just play some clips and I'll call this a video. Yeah. And such. So I guess we should begin somewhere. So we'll begin there.
Staircase to heaven.
But yeah, so that was just a quick little reference to we're in the struggle, we're in the quicksand, and all we know is I don't want to sink. That doesn't seem like a good idea. So I don't have much choice but to swim. And if there's something I can grab hold of, then I'll grab hold of it. And even though I might pull it down into the quicksand, that's not good. And so that's sort of the difference between people. People who don't care about how many people they pull into the quicksand versus people who are very conscious of, ooh, I need to stay above sinking, but I can't really risk other people's welfare to save myself, And that's sort of the difference between the good and the evil people. The evil people don't care about how many people they shove under. And the good people are conscious of it and try to not be a burden and a problem and a mess maker and a cruelty imposer. Yeah. Alright, so we'll jump to here. Yeah. What's the odds? I mean, what's the average case? Okay, so that's more about the whole Olympics analogy and, this idea that your people think they're doing somebody a favor, oh, look, I gave you life and struggle and hardship and pain and misery and death. The odds are it's not going to be, what are most of the stories? If there was a real diary written for, humans, is it really going to be a great story? What are the odds? Great story versus not so good story. Kind of a horrible story. And they all have pretty crappy endings. Again, I mean, how many, I can show you the celebrity photos, of them dying of something. It's not the definition of winning. It's kind of the definition of losing badly. Alright, jump ahead. It's all just psychology pushing people. Right, so yeah, just the built-in hungry, horny. I need to evade illness and disease and dysfunction, and I need to gain all of this stuff I need. I got to get the stuff I want, and yet I have to go fight the bears to get to the raspberry bush. Sorry, I was thinking of bears being big beavers, right? And then well, anyway, never mind. What the brain does. So again, that's all part of the psychology. What the brain does. The word associations and the connections and yeah, I mean my brain almost just wants to say oh yes, it's about beavers and bushes. Yeah, that's what it's about. Shit. Alright, anyway, jump ahead. 1,000 years old or 2,000, that there's always this fight to preserve the union, you could say. So I was just talking about conflicts, and they can be really old or they can be really new, and people are just really in conflict because somebody's brother-in-law said something shitty about you, so you go after any family member you can, or so. I mean, who knows what the bullshit is? But yeah, it's all this bullshit, all this adversarial. So much of life is fighting just living. You know, just the harshness of having to suck your amount of oxygen out of the air. You know, I have to keep doing this breathing thing. You know, and just to make things all that much worse, you have to fight through all this human garbage, you know, all this nonsense, the trolls, the the people butthurted, you know, all the resentfuls, and you know, then they have agendas that they were brought up with, like my father fought for the Confederacy, you know, or grandfather or something, and he was a heroic fighter, and so they still think there's a war to fight. Give it up already. Psychology. It's not a good thing. Alright, jump ahead a little.
Now, there's a line between, you know, real psychological crippling disease and bullshit.
Yeah. So this is more just about systems, and you know, you need systems that can draw those lines. You know, real criminal, that is, you know, violent asshole who will hit you in the head with a brick, and inadvertent, I just was driving a little sloppy and I accidentally killed somebody. I mean, huge differences between these things. And somehow our system doesn't make any kind of rational choices, and it's shit. And the fact that we can't even get that right, that we can't figure out that the penalty for attempted murder should be the same as the penalty for murder. That, you know, because you failed to accomplish what you set out to do should not be a reward thing. You shouldn't start giving out rewards because you were incompetent at completing your mission. And how stupid is that? How fucking stupid can a system possibly be that it just consider, oh no, you only attempted to murder. That's not nearly as bad as actually murdering. Of course it's just as bad from the evil side. The evil was doing exactly the same. The badness was exactly the same. It's just, yes, they got lucky with the outcome. You know, one guy had a better surgeon and saved his life. You know, one guy shoots 700 bullets and the person survives. The other guy shoots one and he's dead. Somehow those are completely different crimes. I mean, fuck. So, I mean, you can't even get that right. I mean, we live in a civilization that can't even figure out it's about the intent of the criminal. That's what you're punishing, is their thinking, their activity. That's what's punishable. Not what happens to the victim. What happens to the civilization if you allow people to have the malicious intent. What? I mean, the crime for successful burglary should be different than the crime for he botched it and failed to burglarize. We don't make that distinction, I don't think, actually. You know, if we catch the burglar at the scene of the crime, we don't give him less penalty for some reason, even though he failed to be a good burglar.
And it seems nobody's able to draw that line rationally.
Oh, okay, we already did that. Alright, jump ahead.
We'll start again, except I'll be a real stupid looking retard.
Yeah, this is just the horror. So the worst horror, again, the horror is it's bad enough to live this stupid life, go through this tedious bullshit, this fucking endless struggle, fight, eek, get through every day, move on to the next day, fight your little challenges. You know, you have a whatever, a toe injury, you know, and you're a little limpy, and you got some other little cramp, or you got some other little problem, or you got a bad, you know, I have some bad shoulders, you know, bad rotator cuffs. Yeah, so you got to fight through all the little bullshit. What was I going to say? Yeah. Oh, yeah, and just the idea that, oh, I have to do it all over again. So even when you're dead, you're not, you know, it's not over. Yeah, they're just going to drag you back to the, you know, go get ground up in the whatever, the gladiator war. You know, it's a great scene from like Ben-Hur, you know, when the guy, you know, he's to do the chariot race thing, you know, and afterwards he's all, you know, he got run over, so he's all broken up, busted up, And he's like, yeah, and he's still so full of hate, you know, and he's still, it's not over, you know, because he just knows it's just, yeah, it's just this endless battle, you know, never ends. Ugh, gross. So we just keep doing this over and over and over and over and over and over, just grinding it up. It's just so stupid that people can defend this crap. Ugh. God, the ignorance. Ew. Disgustingly idiotic. The idiocracy. Big. And so, you know, when you can't even do those simple things, like all agree that, oh yeah, we shouldn't let, say, Barnes & Noble control the card catalog. Yeah, so I'm just throwing a shot at Google in there, just because you got to keep people's awareness. But yeah, I mean, you know, we just keep allowing things where it's obviously not working. It obviously doesn't work. The system is stupid. It's like, even you could just say the welfare system. You've got to create incentives for people not to have kids. You don't create incentives for them to have kids. So whatever system you create to care for them, you have to care for them in a way that's not going to be endorsing and supporting the very thing you're trying to prevent. It's like when you go feed the hungry, you have to do it the right way. If you just feed them, then they'll just make babies out of the food. That's exactly what you don't want. They are living somewhere where there's no food. Making more starving people is a really bad idea when you're trying to eliminate starvation. You know, thinking, you know, and you think you're doing something. No. You're just doing what pus does. Okay, so that was somewhere near the end where, you know, people just have this silly notion that humanity came from something brilliant or something, or somehow it grew out of being just mush and muck and, you know, slime, fish, and somehow we've elevated the game. We're not playing any better game. We're doing exactly what they're doing, just eking through, swimming through the shit, literally, and you know, thinking, oh, I'm winning, until you tragically lose. You know, and then you're dead, and so you can't say I'm losing because you're dead. But anyway, yeah. All right. So anyway, that was almost depressing enough. Just those little tiny clips. It's all so horrible. Anyway, so yeah, so the video had numerous little subjects in it, but it's basically just about why are the dumb people so fucking dumb? It just doesn't even seem possible that people could not get some of this. You know, that there's just gravely important reason to be quite certain if you're going to be stepping on the accelerator here. There's no reason to feel confident about projecting anybody into the future. It's not looking bright, except in fluorescent green colors. Shit. Nah. So anyway. Yeah, so we'll call that a video. Till the next time, when I will attempt to whatever. There's no attempting. You know, it's like we've created this stupid world where you apparently have to just market your way to an audience. You know, you can't earn one. You know, there's no way to fairly earn it. Because, yeah, there's no way for anybody to filter it. You know, it's all this, you know, you're all noise until there's some kind of infrastructure that makes the trumpet and the this and, you know, all the instruments play in an organized way. So without any organization, you know, the internet's just not going to create any a meme symphony. There's not going to be any organization of the notes, of the words, of the concepts, of the ideas. Nothing to filter them, percolate them, organize them, and make something useful out of the conversation. And that's tragic. And the only system that exists just creates little gods, little owners of the category, you know, Oprah, Oprah will tell us what to think. Yuck. Okay. So, enough. Till the next time and such. Yeah, now I'm really depressed. Yeah, okay. But I'll endeavor to persevere as I do. I will keep treading the quicksand waters and till, whatever it is that will finally sink me. Oh, crap. I can't believe people can just keep thinking it. Oh, it's a great idea to endorse this forced march over and over and over again. God. I mean, you should at least, at minimum, be able to say, yes, women getting enthusiastically pregnant should at minimum be slapped in the face. They should get Oscared. Come on. It's just, what the fuck are you thinking?